Justice is one of the concepts that all of us talk about without being specific what we really mean. We think we know what it is, but most probably we do not. Imagine you are creating a society that's based on the concept of justice. So you will have to answer some of the questions that many philosophers and others have been struggling with for thousands of years. For example, how can we be fair to all citizens in terms of distribution of wealth, opportunity, and power? How can we treat those who violate the society's laws? Should a society treat everyone equally? There are many different answers for such questions. First, we will talk about the classical theory of society. The first comprehensive social theory that's based on the concept of justice was developed by Plato. Although Athens had a governing structure that's based on democratic principles, Plato rejected as an ideal model for just society. That's because after the execution of his master, Mr. Socrates, he was disappointed and convinced that most of the people couldn't be trusted to participate in voting and ruling with wisdom and reason. Instead, Plato thought that an ideal society should have some kind of what he called intellectual aristocracy, a political form in which the society is governed by a limited number of people who should have a unique mental abilities. He called them the philosopher kings. Plato didn't believe that all of us have the same abilities. Instead, each of us has a point of strength that should be used in the correct way. He also classified people into three main categories: workers, guardians, and the philosopher kings. In that way, each of us can do certain function according to our abilities to benefit the society and work in harmony to have a happy life. The second school thought that social justice depends on social agreement. Thomas Hobbes thought that humans begin their life in the state of nature, unconstrained by any laws or any social agreement. And given that humans by nature are selfish and destructive, their life was unpleasant and very miserable. So he even described it as a war of all against all. So we recognize that the only way to improve our lives is to make a contract, a social contract. This contract requires all people to drop their rights and freedom to some authority whose commands should be obeyed. Hobbes put some moral obligations on that authority not to command any bad or unworthy decisions, and that authority can handle the justice between individuals. The third school thought that justice is what best promotes the general welfare. John Mill's point of view about justice depends on the concept of social utility, in which justice is what best promotes the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people. For example, if in some situation somebody claims that we have to make a new policy in order to achieve justice, in John Mill's opinion, we have to calculate whether this new policy will make the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people or not. Our last school thought that social justice is what promotes the gender equality between women and men. Susan Oken thought that throughout history, women have been assigned to the private life responsibilities like children caring and maintaining a home. This gives men the privilege to pursue political and public careers. Oken thought that the only way to achieve social justice is to build a new society that's based on gender equality between men and women.
In conclusion, there are many opinions about justice and how it should be applied. However, we only presented 4 of them. First, Plato, philosopher kings. Second, Hobbes, social contract theory. Third, Mill, the general welfare. And finally, Oken, gender equality. At the end, what justice means to you personally defines how you think society should work. So what is your opinion?